I'm going to introduce our second speaker. That's you?
That'd be me.
Come on up here.
I'm sorry. That's all good. It's all good. Honey, I feel like I went to Saturday Night Live as is. Hi, my name's Jill. I'm an alcoholic. Woo! I'm telling you, I'm ready to go tonight, huh? And it's almost my bedtime. 9 o'clock's my bedtime. So I'm actually going to start this meeting off in a way you probably never had a meeting start off before. So I'm going to sing a song. And every time I sing a word that starts with a B, and if you're sitting, I'd like you to stand. And if you're standing, I'd like you to sit. Now, if you have an issue with standing or sitting, just raise your hands up and down like this, okay? Because I am a PE teacher, so I got to get you moving, and I'm going to see if we have kinesthetic learners here, auditory learners here, or visual learners here. So here we go. The letter B, like Bonnie, okay? My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. So bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, bring back, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, bring back, bring back my Bonnie to me. Very good, very good. And as I can see, we have the perfectionists out there who did it every single time, up and down. We had those who were not listening to the directions and just were watching everybody else going up and down and went up and down. And those were like, I ain't doing this. I don't care. I don't feel like it. So anyway, my story starts off, I was born September 29th, 1966 in Cleveland, Ohio. The very first thing my father said to my mother when I was born was, you got your girl, but she's a crippled, because I was born with a clubfoot. And it made my mother cry. So from the very first time I took a breath, I felt like there was something wrong with me. I was raised with 4 brothers, so it was always, go home, you're a girl, we don't want you. So I never even felt like I belonged in my own family. When I was 7 years old, I was sexually abused by a friend of my older brother. I thought that was a way for me to fit in. In 4th grade, my nickname was Fatty Four Eyes in the Goodyear Blimp. And I decided, I had an aunt who said, this wonderful aunt was the one who told me about my father not wanting a girl. And this is a wonderful aunt who also told me, too, that I was going to be fat just like the rest of us Shanks. And I made a decision at that young age, because I was called Fatty Four Eyes in the Goodyear Blimp, that I would die before I become fat. And I almost did. You see, at the age of 11, we left Ohio after the blizzard of '78, went down to Florida, and when we were leaving, we left an 87-acre farm with horses, cows, pigs, dogs, sheep, everything. And when we were leaving, my father said, do not cry. We're going to a better place. See, if you grew up in a home like I grew up in, crying was not okay. In fact, if you started to cry, it'd be like, you crying? I'll give you something to cry about, right? And the belt came off, And it was very confusing for me because I was raised Catholic, and every Sunday, like clockwork, we would go to church. Doesn't matter. And we get ready in the morning, and we argue and fight and yell and go to church, get out of the car. Hey, thank you, Jesus. Praise the Lord, And the smiles went on, and everything was hunky-dory, and everything was good. But then we go back home, and we weren't so nice to each other behind the scenes. And I was very confused and in turmoil about this religious thing. And of course, I already knew at the age of 7 I was going to hell because I was sexually abused, and I did that, and it was my fault because I met him. So I thought. And my father was a football coach, and I knew in the back of my mind he never wanted a girl. So I saw him at practice coaching football, and I said, I could try out for this team. I tried out. I made the team. I was the first girl in the state of Florida to play Pop Warner football or tackle football with a helmet. In fact, I'd probably be a YouTube star if it existed back then. Thank God it didn't exist back then when I was drinking and using. Anyway, and my nickname was JJ for Jill the Jock. And then, because my father didn't want the other team to know I was a girl. In high school, I was goody two-shoes. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do anything. And then my parents were going away for the weekend. And I said, Mom, can I have some friends over? Because, see, I got 14 varsity letters in high school, volleyball, basketball, softball, and tennis for 2 years. So once again, I never felt like I belonged in my family because there was all boys. I didn't feel like I belonged on the football team because I always had to change in the bathroom by myself. And now, as an athlete, I'm hanging out with juniors and seniors, and I'm a freshman and sophomore. So once again, I don't feel like I fit in. And so I decided, Mom, hey, can I have some friends over? We're going to play something called quarters. I'm like, what is quarters, whatever. And so I started drinking 7 and 7 and playing quarters. And my friends were going, I'm not going to drink anymore. I said, here, I'll drink it. Here, I'll drink it. I could not understand how a liquid could affect my brain. I just didn't get it. And so came to the next morning, and I say came to. I said, who threw up in my bed? How'd I get these clothes on? And did a friend stop by? Well, you threw up in your bed. You were so full of throw up, we had to throw you in the shower. Oh, by the way, you fell in the pool 6 times, and I had the world's worst bed spins for 3 days. Just the ceiling fan was I wish somebody would have told me to put your foot on the ground and to stop spinning. You know, I didn't learn that till years later. But anyway, I swore that I would never drink again. And about 6 months later, I was introduced to beer. Honey, when I drank beer, I knew a new freedom and a new happiness. My boobs got bigger, my moves got better, and I had it going on. It did something to me. I was like, yes! And even though I hated the taste of it, but after the first 3, it just tastes like water anyway. And I literally drank, and I liked the way it made me feel. I had to put down a 6-pack if the party was 5 minutes away or an hour away. I had to drink at least a 6-pack before I even got to the party because you guys didn't drink fast enough as I did. You know, you guys were too slow. And anyway, I realized when I was 15, I got into competitive bodybuilding. My brother was a wrestler, and he would diet to make weight. I was dieting for the competition, and afterwards I was so full because there was all this food behind the scenes. And remember, I grew up with you're going to be fat just like the rest of the shanks, so I overachieved in bodybuilding and sports and stuff like that. So my brother said, why don't you just throw up? And I went, that is disgusting. But I did. And I got addicted to it. I was throwing up to 8 times a day. There was a 3-year period where I had absolutely no food in this body. Anything I ate, I immediately thought, where am I going to throw this up? And it was an addiction, so I'd drink, get drunk, binge, throw up, and usually try and attempt suicide, go for an ambulance ride, end up in an emergency room, and come to an emergency room and go, I can't even kill myself right. I am such a loser. And I hated myself so much. So the answer to all my problems was to move away from my family, of course, and go to a Christian college in North Carolina, Billy Graham's hometown. So I went to North Carolina, and I didn't realize everywhere I went, there I was. I have news for you, ladies. You can't get away from you. You go to the bathroom, there you are. You take a shower, there you are. You go anywhere, there you are. And I think that's why I liked drinking so much, because I got away from me. I would black out and come to, and whatever happened, I didn't care, because from 15 to 24, I was on a suicide mission. I didn't want to live. But on the outside, I got the straight A's. I was the athlete. I had everything going for me on the outside. Everybody thought my life was perfect. And on the inside, I was dying, and nobody knew that. So I ended up drinking away 5 athletic scholarships, 3 at Montreat College and 2 at the University of Tampa. I was in the University of Tampa. We were away in New Orleans on a volleyball tournament, and everybody said, you need to try hurricanes. Well, see, backing up a little bit, when I was 16, I went to my first AA meeting because I knew I was an alcoholic. I walked in the room, and this is Florida, so a lot of people have gray hair anyway. So I walked in the room, I was 16, but I noticed the laughter in the room. And we had lots of that tonight. And I went back immediately to the coffee, and I smelled the coffee, because I thought, there's no way they're laughing and having a good time without drinking something or pouring a little something in their coffee, you know? And they were actually sober and happy. And I couldn't remember the last time I was really happy without drinking. And so here I am at University of Tampa playing volleyball in New Orleans, and they said, you have to have hurricanes. And I went, I better not. But I did. And needless to say, I climbed down 8 stories of a hotel building because, see, when I drank, I used to like to think. I wanted to drink and think. Oh, poor me, my father never wanted me. Yeah, I was sexually abused, you know. And I wanted to walk, and they would not let me get out of the hotel room. So I hung from one balcony, dropped, boom. Hung, next one, boom. And all the way down, and I got to walk, but then one of my teammates tackled me. Needless to say, because of my behavior away at the volleyball tournament, I was no longer allowed to play volleyball for the University of Tampa. Can you believe that? I can't believe that. So then basketball season was coming around, but before that came around, I was really stressed out, so I decided, you know, I had been working, I had been playing volleyball, I was studying, I failed a trigonometry test. And I hadn't drank in a while, because I knew that drinking was an issue with me. So I went, I said, you know what, forget it. I'm leaving school. I just need to drink, because I just need to escape, because that was my answer to everything. I'm heading back to school, so I think. Apparently, I was going 80 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. I hit the back end of a semi, flipped over 3 lanes of traffic. I flew out of the car hit a tree, caught on fire, and I landed flat smack on my back. I had a 0.27 alcohol level at 2:30 in the afternoon. And did that stop me from drinking? No. I was drinking and riding my bicycle drunk and running into parked cars and saying, oh, it's my contact, it's my contact. It's amazing what we do. I'm telling you. And so my MO for a long time was drink, get drunk, try and commit suicide, go for an ambulance ride, and just realize, you know what? I'm so grateful I'm a failure at suicide attempts. Because after a while, it occurred to me, what would happen if instead of using and abusing myself and binging and purging and hurting myself, what would happen if I started loving and approving of myself no matter what? But see, when you're around family, don't get me wrong, I love my family, and my parents are like wine, they're getting better with age. You know, I love them, and I realized for me that it wasn't that my father didn't want a girl, it was that he was afraid he didn't know how to raise a girl after raising boys. And it was true. Around the holidays, I'd get ready to go hunting. He'd go in the house and help your mom cook, you're a girl. Well, I go in the house and cry. It wasn't even that I was going to kill an animal because I'm an animal lover, but just to be a part of. And then later on during the week, my brothers would be out cleaning the pig pen, and my dad would say, go outside and help your brothers clean the pig pen. And I went, well, wait a second here. This ain't... But you know what? It made me the person I am today. I could fix a car, I could bake a meal, I could mow the lawn, you name it, I could do it. And especially today with YouTube, you could do anything. Just Google it, and it's like how to, and it's like amazing. But I didn't realize how to get sober for a long time. My first meeting was in 1983. I went in and out, 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 in and out again. I realized that I probably have relapsed 3,000 times. But I've gotten sober 3,001 times. It does not matter how many times you fall down. What matters is how many times you get back up again. And it took me a long time to stop beating myself up for the things that happened to me in the past. Especially as women, when we drink, things happen to us under the influence. Some things have happened to me so badly that I had to realize that it was just a bad nightmare and I would get through it. And that's how I dealt with it as I ate and threw up. But thank God, on 1991, my father said to me, why don't you go try out for this game show? It's called American Gladiators. And I went, well, what's American Gladiators? Because, I was waitressing and substitute teaching. And so I went to Tampa Fairgrounds. Over 3,000 people tried out. I was one of 12 people to be picked to be flown out to Los Angeles. I was on the show, American Gladiators, and I lost by 4 seconds in the eliminator. And I went to go where people hung out in AA at the meetings, at a restaurant, to look for one person from the meeting. I couldn't find one person. So I decided, I'm just going to drink one beer. Yeah, we know how that is. One's too many and 1,000 isn't enough. Needless to say, I drank, I got drunk, I binged, I purged, and the whole phenomena of craving came up, and the obsession came up, and the craziness came up, and I walked, biked, and hitchhiked the streets of Los Angeles saying, I'll drink at the next bar, I'll drink at the next bar, I'll drink at the next bar. Then I go to an AA meeting. I'll drink at the next bar. I drink at the next bar. And I went to an AA meeting. See, the cliff notes of Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't drink, go to meetings, get a sponsor, work the steps, call 3 alcoholics every day. Because this is the disease of isolation. This is a disease that says, you ain't got it. This is a disease that says, you know what, I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. But man, once you really work step 1, completely and totally, that is the only step any of us need to work 100%. And if I admit that I am powerless over alcohol, that means as long as I don't put alcohol in this system, I am powerful. As soon as alcohol touches these lips, I have no idea what's going to happen. And I have no idea where I'm going to end up or what's going to happen, or what country. Thank God I didn't grow up here. Because with TJ being that close, honey, let me tell you, I would have gone down there a lot and gotten a lot of trouble. But I am grateful that Alcoholics Anonymous brought me out here because I needed to be away from my family to work on me. Because family has a way of keeping us stuck in negative, destructive thinking. See, that the addiction is passed down from generation to generation. Yeah, my grandfather was an alcoholic. My mom's father was an alcoholic. My mom and dad have issues with food, and I'm recovering alcoholic. My brothers all like to drink, and addiction is passed down until somebody says, look, the buck stops here. But for me, I drank because I liked the way it made me feel, because it made me not feel. And I have news for you, ladies. Anybody in here, if you're debating whether or not you're an alcoholic or addict or whatever it is, your drinking is screwed. Your using is screwed. Never again will it work for you the way it used to work, because there is a solution. And the solutions are in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I never expected to live past the age of 18. Because not only had an eating disorder, but I was into cutting and burning myself, because I would rather, hit me, stab me, punch me. My body will heal. But say something that hurts my spirit, my soul, I may take that to the grave with me, because words hurt. And one of the biggest lies I grew up with sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. Names hurt. They hurt. Until you get to love yourself and know who you are with your God and Creator living inside of you, words hurt, because we want to be accepted and loved by outside. And when I first came to these rooms, I wanted to be loved and accepted by all you in these rooms, because I hated myself so much. I contemplated suicide all the time. Even in sobriety, I contemplated suicide. That's the truth of it, because the depression, that dark depression that you just can't explain to anybody, of the self-hatred. And I'll tell you something, if you have a 3-year-old child and you tell that 3-year-old child, I love you, you're amazing, you're a gift, you can become anything you want to become, I am always here for you, I believe in you, I believe in your dreams, that 3-year-old is going to grow up to be successful and responsible in life. Take that same 3-year-old. I wish you were never born. You're a big mistake. I hate you. Go away. We don't want you anymore. Go somewhere else. And that child is going to have a much different life. And what I learned is I had to reparent myself. I had to find a picture of me when I was a little girl and say, I love you, Jill. I believe in you, and I'm here for you, because to be honest with you, that's all any of us have wanted, is to love ourselves. And for some reason, it's so much easier to love a child than it is to love an adult. I can't explain that, because kids I love. I'm a teacher. I love teaching. I love kids. But it seems that when people get to adulthood, I judge them more, because they should know by now not to behave that way, for heaven's sake. And if I could close my eyes and picture you all as 5-year-old kindergartners, what a different view this is. Honey, we were getting down earlier today. You know, that was our 5-year-old kid having a great time. Because I'm so grateful that I've learned to laugh today. But I don't want to ever forget that I cried. And the tears that I cried, I'm telling you, you're looking at somebody who hated life so much, who thought about dying every single day, would pray for God to take me in my night when I was sleeping, take me in my dreams, just let me die, take me away. And I'd come up and I'd go, here I am again. And then God would say, I love you. I believe in you. I am here for you. And I will never leave you nor forsake you. In fact, in sobriety, I don't know what I was thinking. I went to Australia on a single tour group. Australia, singles, okay? They made drinking look really fun again. And I was about 7 years sober. And I was on this island, and of course, every morning they'd say, hey, what happened last night? And, oh, did you hear about so-and-so and so? All that crazy stuff that goes with drinking. And I'm going, I really need a meeting. God, I really need a meeting. Knowing there's no way that there's going to be a meeting on this island. And so I'm hiking down this path, already contemplating what I'm going to drink, because if you're a habitual relapser like I was, I would keep a list of all the new alcohol drinks that they came out with since my last relapse. And if I'm going to relapse, I got to try this and this and this and this and this, and then I could get sober again. And so I'm hiking on this path, and I see this guy walking towards me, and his shirt is open, and he has the symbol of Alcoholics Anonymous around his neck. And I said, are you a friend of Bill's? And he goes, yes, I am. I said, I need a meeting tonight. He goes, meet my wife and I tonight at the restaurant, and we'll have a meeting. See, if 50% of me wants to drink and 50% of me wants to stay sober, and I throw out that prayer, God, please help me, God will send an angel in my life. That angel may have fur on, feathers on, scales on, and occasionally skin on. Because I was on that same trip, rolling, going, okay, God, do you even hear me? You know how we get in those places? Are you even real? Or is this just a joke? Is we just die and that's it? Do you even hear me? I'm kayaking on this island out in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, right where Tony is sitting, a big manta ray with a 5-foot wingspan jumps up right out of the water out of me, right next to me, and I went, okay, I hear you. Yeah. Woo! I said, thank you, it wasn't a great white shark. But that is how God works. Those are what I call God shots. In fact, I drank away those athletic scholarships, got kicked out of 2 colleges, went through 4 alcohol and drug treatment centers because I needed treatment centers, because I like treatment centers. You know, it's all about me. How you feeling today? What's going on? You know, how you doing? Yeah. I love treatment centers. Now I realize I could get my drama fix watching TV, and I so much love watching TV and drama on TV going, that was me. in the ambulance. That was me. And I teach high school. I deal with enough drama during the day. I don't want to come home to drama at night. And it's amazing how, gosh, if we would just let people love us, to let love in. I don't know why we hate ourselves so much. But I want to challenge each and every person in here, next time you are talking, especially about yourself, make sure you say positive things. Not, I'm so stupid, I can't believe. Well, if you keep on saying you're stupid, guess what? You're going to get stupider and stupider, you know? That's just real it goes. So it's like, you know what? If you're a habitual relapser, stop saying that. Say, you know what? I used to relapse a lot in the program. I no longer relapse. You know, today is the first day of the rest of our lives. Today. And the hardest thing about sobriety, especially when I'm working with newcomers, is they go, oh, Thanksgiving. Oh, Christmas. I go, oh, it's October 14th. It's far away. Right? We do not have enough strength for Thanksgiving today. It says, give us this day our daily bread. It does not say, give us a loaf of bread to last us a week. And that is the way the day is broken down, is into 3 8-hour periods. 8 hours of work. Yeah, there we are. I'm looking at Tony. Anyway, 8 hours of work. 8 hours to do errands and stuff around the house and take care of the kids and exercise a little bit and all this stuff. And then the last 8 hours is to sleep to get over the previous 16 hours so you could do it all over again the next day. See, yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Exactly. And you may hear, if you have one foot in tomorrow and one foot in yesterday, you're pissing all over today. So it's about staying in the moment, in the now. The power is in the now. And what's this program about? This program is about change. You only need to change one thing, and that's everything. Change. I created an acronym for change because I'm weird. I like acronyms. Constantly having adjustments. Needing God every day. And for those of you who have an issue with God, needing gratitude every day. Because a grateful person will not pick up a drink or a drug. And everybody in here has a reason to be grateful. Because you're looking at me, you can see me. You can hear me. You walked in here tonight. We take for granted our health. And our health is very, very important. Yes, this is a spiritual program, not a religious program. Religion is man-made. Spirituality is God-given. Religion causes the world to have wars. Spirituality causes the world to hold hands. And this is my church. This is where I come to hear from God. And we need to keep our church sacred. That means put away the damn cell phones. Come on now. I'm telling you, cell phones I see are taking over people. I see people texting in meetings back and forth. If you've been around the rooms, put away the damn cell phone. And I'm so grateful cell phones were not around. Honey, when I was drinking and using, because Lord only knows what I would have Facebook, Snapchat, tweeted, whatever, you know. If Bill and Bob were writing the big book, they say restraint of tongue, pen, email, text, tweet, Snapchat, Vine, Facebook. There's so many of them, it's scary. And kids today, I teach high school, are like this all the time. And they're not like this talking face to face. And kids are so lost today because they're so not connected. And people in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous who come in here are feeling not connected because they're still like this. But that, when I'm on the phone doing this, it's all about being selfish and self-centered again. And for anybody in the rooms, because there's usually in several meetings that there's always one or two people that are always on their phone. Next time they get up to share, everybody take out their phone. And the only reason I say that is because we used to have a person in a meeting in Pacific Beach that every Sunday he'd read the newspaper. Right? While people were sharing. And one time he got up, everybody in the audience had a newspaper, and when he got up to share, everybody held up the newspaper. You know, it brought the message across. It brought the message across. So once again, this is a spiritual program, but we are physical beings. We need to take care of the physical. So that means the nightly news and the morning news. Just think of news AM and news PM, because once again, the acronyms, right? News, nutrition. We got to eat. And back a long time ago when I was getting sober for the very first time, when I really wanted to drink, they would have candy bars on the tables for people who were jonesing for a drink. And they'd eat a Snickers bar or chocolate or something like that, and it has the same impact on your blood sugar. Nutrition, exercise, move your body. The best exercise you can do is walking. Walking, that's it. Get up, move. Or better yet, dance. Throw a little dab in there, or you know, put some music on and get down and, you know.
Teach him how to do it.
I teach high school, so they teach me all the hip dances. And they say, dance, Coach Shank. I'm like, there's no music. They go, you don't need any music. I go, you're right. I don't need any music. Nutrition, exercise, water. Water is so very important because sometimes when we think we're hungry, we're really thirsty. And most importantly, sleep. We need to get at least 8 hours, ladies. I notice certain times when I'm under a lot of stress, I try and get 9 hours because it's just for a way, it's a good escape. You know how we used to drink to escape and use to escape? Take a nap. Take a nap. And it freaked me out back in the day because I'd have a lot of drunk dreams, you know. Now, since I've been sober for a while, when I'm having one of those, I'm like, hey, I'm having a drunk dream, you know. I mean, I know it's a freebie. It's just weird. But one time, it was so real, I thought I had to call my sponsees and say, you need to find a new sponsor. And I called my sponsor, and she said, well, is there any alcohol? Are there any empty beer cans? And I looked around the room, and I said, no. They go, are you sure you drank last night? I said, it felt real. It felt real. And see, this is a life or death situation here. Addiction, the disease of alcoholism, wants each and every one of you 6 feet under. Okay? But if it can't put you 6 feet under, it will be happy with you going in and out of these rooms or in these rooms miserable. Because I used to be the woman that was on the pity pot the whole entire time because I couldn't understand why that special person wasn't coming into my life. When my sponsees were finding the loves of their lives and getting married, what about me? And you know, this is the first time I've ever shared with a group of women. And when I was 28 years old, a woman kissed me for the first time. It freaked me out so badly because I grew up with a very religious family that I didn't want to live if I was going to be gay. And for 3 weeks, I would go to a 7 o'clock a.m. meeting, and I would cry the whole entire time and say, my biggest fear has come true, and I don't know if I want to live with it. And I was so ashamed to tell anybody because I was embarrassed and ashamed, and I realized I moved here for a relationship with a woman and a job, and both of them fell through when I came here, and I was too embarrassed to share the pain with anybody because it was too scary for me. It was too scary for me. And then it's the confusion of intimacy. It's like, the craziness is I just wanted to be loved. And then, see, I don't know if you're anything like me. I'm like, come close, no, but stay far away. Yeah. Love me, but get away. I was the meanest person to the people who loved me the most. It didn't make any sense, especially when I drank. And my mom, one time, she recorded me when I was drunk because I was being, you know, like we be when we're under the influence of alcohol. And she slapped me. And she said, I am not slapping my daughter. I'm slapping Satan who's in her right now because I don't know what's going on with her. That is not my daughter. You know. And whatever you want to call it, the disease, the enemy, Satan, it wants us 6 feet under. And you know how I know God is working in all your lives? We're all still here. Honey, if you thought about checking out as much as I have or even tried to check out as much as I did, and we're still here, God is working in our lives. And if you walk through that door tonight, let me tell you something. You are one of God's chosen people. We get to live 2 lifetimes in 1 lifetime. I am no longer the falling down drunk who likes to take ambulance rides. I instead am trying to help people look in the mirror and learn to love themselves. Look in the mirror and say, I love you, I believe in you, I care for you. And you know what? If you don't feel, even if you don't feel it, just say it. And do the right thing, especially when you don't feel like it. It's not about feeling like doing something. You do the right thing, and then eventually you feel like doing it. But sometimes you don't ever feel like doing it. You just do it. You know. And I'm going to tell you, thoughts turn into words. Words turn into actions. Actions turn into habits. Habits determine your character. And ultimately, your character determines your destiny. You want a good destiny? Change your thoughts from negative to destructive to creative and positive. Start saying what you want in your life. You know what? When I work with sponsees and they're having an issue, I said, you have 5 minutes to bitch and complain about the problem. Now I want you to tell me the solution. If this is the problem, what is the solution? Let's focus on the solution. Focus on what you want in your life, not what you don't want. The subconscious brain does not understand negatives. I couldn't understand whenever I told myself, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, I drink again. Because I was telling my subconscious brain, drink, I want to drink, I want to drink, I want to drink. So instead, I choose to stay sober today. I choose to make healthy choices for myself today. So I'm going to end this because I got this little thing that's not a wave thing. I like it, though. I got the 5 minutes, and I'm a teacher. I don't like to go over because the bell rings at a certain time. I'm going to end this thing with one of the favorite sayings that I have on my wall in a couple places, and I hope it means something to you as much as it means to me. I was regretting the past and fearing the future. And my God said, when you're in the past with all its regret and shame, it is difficult. My name is not I was. And when you're in the future with all its anxieties and fears, it's difficult. Because my God says, my name is not I will be. But when you're in this moment, this precious moment, it is not hard. Because my God says, my name is I am. The power is in the moment. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why we call it the present. And just for kicks, I want to end this like I end my PE classes. I'd like you to repeat after me. I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful.
I'm confident.
I'm confident.
I'm determined.
I'm determined.
I can do anything I put my mind to.
I can do anything I put my mind to.
And if you heard anything here tonight, ladies, don't thank you go, girl. I like someone that follows the directions all the way. Don't thank me. Thank yourself because you listened. You opened your heart and soul to the message. Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. And suddenly the depression can be moved. Suddenly the relationship can come into your life. Suddenly you can get that dream job. Suddenly a financial windfall will fall your way. God is good. I love you. God bless you. Thanks for letting me share.